I don't think we realize what the Kansas City Chiefs just did. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is the Kansas City Chiefs have found their most underrated player. The Kansas City Chiefs defense flew under the radar for much of the 2023 NFL season. Ahead of KC's 2024 campaign, Chiefs defenders have spent plenty of time in the spotlight. Earlier this offseason, Chiefs linebacker Drue Tranquill was named as the Chiefs' most underappreciated player, a fitting nomination for one of KC's less praised defenders. Now, it's one of Tranquill's fellow linebackers earning a similar accolade. Connor Orr of SI chose his most underrated player from each AFC team ahead of the 2024 season, and Orr picked linebacker Leo Chenal for Kansas City as the former third-round pick enters his 3rd NFL season. The man who stripped Christian McCaffrey in the Super Bowl already has his place cemented in Chiefs history, Orr wrote. But the third-round pick in 2022 also cut his missed tackle percentage from 12.5% to 4.4% in his 2nd season and became a much larger part of Kansas City's pressure package. Chenal also cut his yards per completion allowed total from 15.4 to 7.9, despite facing a much higher volume of targets. There were a couple of times in Super Bowl LV8 when his speed was enough to force Brock Purdy to pass up a checkdown option and allow the Chiefs' pass rush time to get into the backfield. With that speed, he was also able to get into the backfield and stop some of the 49ers' quick game from establishing itself. We've seen so often how the range of an interior off-ball linebacker can give good defenses some breathing room when they're forced into base looks. Chenal is certainly developing into one of those players who shouldn't have to leave the field as much. Chenal was also recently named KC's non-starter to know for 2024 by Aaron Schatz of ESPN. With Tranquill under contract for at least the next 2 seasons, Willie Gay Jr. now in New Orleans, and starting middle linebacker Nick Bolton entering the final year of his rookie contract, Chenal should see plenty of opportunities to justify his off-season hype as the Chiefs make their run at the NFL's first-ever three-peat. The most important positional battle of Kansas City Chiefs' 2024 training camp is undoubtedly the open competition at left tackle. Chiefs Digest beat reporter Matt Derrick discussed the LT situation during a Q&A with fans on July 2nd, and the KC media member was very confident about his prediction for the eventual outcome. Really, the biggest position battle for a true starting spot is left tackle, Derrick began. I don't know how much of a battle it's going to be because I think Kingsley Suamataia is going to be going in as the favorite, and I think he's going to win the job. You know Wanya Morris. There may be some swings. Maybe there'll be some ups and downs. They may very well share the position at the very beginning, the beat writer added, noting that fans might see the 2 recent draft picks rotate until the pads come on. But I think the Chiefs want Kingsley to win that battle, Derrick went on. I think they believe he will win that battle. The signs that we've seen with Wanya sprinkling in a little bit at guard, I think tells you that they do at least for 2024 see him as being the 6th lineman. It doesn't mean that Wanya Morris couldn't be a starting offensive tackle down the line. Certainly at some point, they're going to need a new right tackle, and maybe that's Wanya's job in the future, he acknowledged. However, Derrick was steadfast in his belief that the rookie second-rounder will be protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side come Week 1. That is a battle, but I'm just not sure how much of a battle it will be, the KC reporter concluded. If Suamataia does indeed start right out of the gates, he'll have to learn and develop on the fly. Ahead of the draft, NFL Network scouting expert Lance Zierlein was concerned about the BYU product's sloppy hand placement, limited experience, and his lack of quickness in pass protection. His average slide quickness forces gate to open prematurely, the draft analyst stated, adding that he lacks sudden hands to find the opponent's frame first. Similarly, Bleacher Report's Brandon Thorne worried about Swamataia's unrefined skill, labeling him a potential impact player at the NFL level. While Swamataia has the foundation in place to play on an island in the NFL, he will drift and overset to create a soft inside shoulder and has an upright playing style that allows quick access into his frame against speed to power, Thorne wrote on April 26th. He's also unrefined when it comes to spacing, depth, and recognizing stunts, games, and late developing blitzes that creates leakage and penetration. The second story is two Chiefs named dark horse candidates for major NFL awards in 2024. Several members of the Kansas City Chiefs have collected plenty of off-season buzz ahead of the 2024 NFL season. In one new list, a veteran defensive stalwart and a rookie speedster have been highlighted as dark horse candidates for NFL awards in 2024. Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report discussed three sleeper candidates to win every major NFL award after the upcoming season, highlighting a Chief from both sides of the ball. Listed at plus 3,000 odds in Gagnon's story, he suggests Chiefs defensive lineman Chris Jones as a prime candidate for an under-the-radar Defensive Player of the Year campaign in 2024. Dude is a strong candidate every freaking year and has been a first-team All-Pro the last 2 seasons, Gagnon wrote. Might this finally be his time? If nobody else shines in a massive way, voters might finally go this direction by default. With the Chiefs' status as the focal point of the NFL, another big year after the retirement of former Los Angeles Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald may be what Jones needs to earn the highest level of defensive hardware in the league. On the offensive side, Gagnon highlighted rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy, listed with 1,800 odds to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. When you've got that speed, you've got Patrick Mahomes, and you've got a receiving core that is weak enough to lead to plenty of looks, the ingredients are there, Gagnon wrote. Under those circumstances, those odds are strong. Worthy will need to prove he belongs on the field as a rookie in head coach Andy Reid's offense, but his ceiling in his first year is certainly higher than most first-year players due to KC's coach-quarterback duo. The offseason for Kansas City Chiefs wideout Rashee Rice has been tumultuous at best. With 8 felony charges pending following a multi-car accident in Dallas where Rice left the scene, followed up by an altercation at a nightclub just a few weeks later, the former SMU Mustang could miss multiple games this season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler believes that it will be a pretty harsh punishment. Most people I've talked to around the league believe that he will get a multi-game suspension at some point given all that's gone down, Fowler stated. The third story is duality of coverage for Chiefs CB depth highlights risk entering 2024. If there's one position the Kansas City Chiefs have earned the benefit of the doubt at, it's cornerback. Despite that, many are left wondering how the room will fare in 2024 now that L'Jarius Sneed has been traded away. Just this week, opinions have differed on Kansas City's cornerback depth and players like Joshua Williams. Williams, a former Day 3 draft pick, is one of the corners who's expected to step up in Sneed's absence. The Chiefs know what they have in starman Trent McDuffie, but behind him, the trio of Williams, Jalen Watson, and Nazeeh Johnson leaves a lot of uncertainty. If things pan out and one or more of those players progresses, Kansas City will be just fine. If not, one of 2023's best defenses could be due for a notable step back. On the positive side, Bucky Brooks of NFL.com appears to be all in on Williams. Naming the 24-year-old to his 2024 All-Breakout team, he thinks the Fayetteville State product is due for a big-time year. Perhaps the Chiefs were willing to move on from L'Jarius Sneed due to Williams' potential as a sticky cover corner in a man-heavy scheme, Brooks wrote. Since his arrival as a 4th-round pick out of Fayetteville State in 2022, Williams' growth has raised eyebrows around the league, with scouts and executives appreciating the small school standout's game. As an instinctive playmaker with exceptional length, Williams has earned rave reviews for his work as a part-time player in Kansas City's defensive backfield. He is not afraid of the bright lights and big stage, as evidenced by his play as a young defender on the back-to-back Super Bowl champs. With more opportunities to showcase his talents against elite receivers in the AFC, Williams could emerge as a worthy complement to Trent McDuffie on the perimeter. On the opposite end, CBS Sports believes the Chiefs have a potential issue on their hands. In a recent article, Cody Benjamin cited cornerback depth as Kansas City's biggest 2024 red flag. Kansas City wouldn't have traded L'Jarius Sneed, their top cover man in 2023, if Trent McDuffie hadn't also emerged as a versatile starter in the secondary, Benjamin wrote. Even so, new running mate Joshua Williams enters 2024 with just 6 career starts under his belt,